Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is our Manchester United versus Leicester live preview. Please remember, if you're watching live, to remind me about GCSE results later on. I promised I'd say something about that. But first of all, we're here to talk about Manchester United versus Leicester. And I can categorically say that Manchester United are going to win this game. Don't normally go that hard so early on a preview, but Manchester United will win this game against Leicester. I've got no doubts we're going into the international break with 9 points, and I think score prediction early on. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go 3-1. I think we might concede. I hope not, but I'm going to go 3-1. It's one of my favourite scores, so I'm going to go with 3-1. But let me fly straight over to here. This is my predicted lineup for the game against Leicester City. It's the same. It's the same lineup for 3 games in a row, and I'm one of those people who, I think Martial's pushing really, really hard, and I think in most teams he would be starting, but I'd give him half an hour in this game. I'd bring him on around 60 minutes. He's had 10 minutes, he's had 20 minutes, give him half an hour. There's a big contrast between starting a game and finishing a game, and I just think, take your time, right? Why run before we can walk? Why play all our cards? Herrera as well is another great player who's not playing at the moment. We don't need to rush it. We're at home. We're against the mid-table team in Leicester. Pick the same team. There's no rush. Martial's not going to chuck a transfer request in. He knows he's doing well. Pick the same team. If it's not working out, let's bring the subs on. But let's build towards it. Let's keep something back in this international break. I guarantee you, rivals are absolutely terrified. We've played 2 games and we've already got point advantage on everybody who's going to challenge us for the title. We don't need to play our cards. Let's just keep it the way it is. Keep the winning team. Start the winning team. We're a squad. We're not 11 individuals. We're not about 11 players. And let's keep it like that. So let's go into the tactics side of things, because that's what we want to do. You're gone. Okay, so this is a tactical look at basically how Leicester line up and how Manchester United, I believe, will... Well, this is how we'll line up if we keep the same team. The first thing that I need to do before we do anything is take away this man, Vardy. He's gone because he's going into Baye's pocket. There's nowhere else that Vardy's going to go. Baye's destroyed Vardy numerous times, so he's out of the equation. We don't need to worry him. So Leicester are down to 10 players straight away. But in all seriousness, let's put Vardy back on. Put him somewhere he's not going to do any damage. Baye's just going to, follow him around everywhere he goes. Don't need to worry about that. But they play sort of a 4-4-1-1. So Asaki plays there. They play. What I want to say first of all about Leicester, because people, it's not your job to go and have a look at the opposition. We'll happily do that for you on the preview. Leicester beat Brighton 2-0 at home last week. Interesting enough, Brighton were the away team. They had 55% of the possession. So don't expect to be concerned by Leicester and them keeping on the ball. What they're going to do is what they did when they won the title. It's going to be long balls up from here. And let me do it. Long balls up from here, up from here, up from here. Looking to get Vardy in around here and here. But we'll be fine with that. I've got no concerns about that at all. So 4-4-1-1. They will be doing this a lot. They'll be keeping this back. They'll be pushing these lot back. And it'll be our job to try and get at them and create the chances. And how do we do that? We say it week in, week out. What we don't want to do is be in a position where we are going down the middle all the time. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is force them to tuck in there and get down to these positions. Get down the wing, put the crosses into the box, into that danger zone. As I've said, that's a weird cross. That's an impossibility. But get that done. What we might do, and what we did against Swansea and West Ham in the first half, is try and find little ways here. Now, if Mkhitaryan's there, of course, that's absolutely fine. He can turn, he can find the pass. We can look at passes here and get Rashford into there. But that's not really going to happen. That's not really going to happen at all. What will happen is that they will make it very difficult for us. They will pull into positions like this. They'll make it very tight down the middle, and we will have to try and find our way through, which is why we need to use the width. We need to use the width, and we need to be patient. But Leicester, if we push too high up, too high up when they're on the attack, so Asaki will drop in there. You've got Matic, Pogba, Blind, Valencia, Baye, Jones. Put Baye with Vardy like that. What they will do is they'll look for these balls, as I said, and that's how Leicester with Vardy will get into the game, or like that. He'll try to get into there and he'll miss like that. But yeah, so we've got to be very, very careful about being caught on the break, but I don't really have any fear when it comes to Leicester, because I think we're more than capable of causing them problems and winning the game against them. Patience is a virtue, but the wing is very important. But Morgan, in fairness, and Maguire, they're decent, but Lukaku can cause them problems. With our home team, I've got no fear. I've got no fear about how we approach this game, because with our home team, we've got the 12th man. I've never seen the Old Trafford crowd like it was in a long time in the second half against West Ham. I've seen them start the game really up for it, but we finished the game up for it. We took that away to Swansea, and the crowd will be up for this. And Leicester, don't care what anybody says, Leicester will do well to finish in the top 8 this season. They're no Jedi. They're nothing to be concerned about. What they will cause us problems is if they get free kicks around this area, and they can bring people like Maguire and Morgan up into the penalty box, and they've got people like Albrighton and Mahrez who can put decent crosses into that box. That's where they might cause us problems. Or, as I said before, maybe they will cause us a little bit of problem on the break. But apart from that, we're going to have a lot of ball, going to have a lot of possession, and it's about what we do with that possession on Saturday evening at 5:30. So I'm going to go for 3-1, and I think it's interesting what people might think about that, and it's interesting what people think of that fact I haven't changed the team at all. But as I said at the start of the video, I think we really need to go with the team that we've been playing the last couple of games. Does anybody really deserve to come out of that team? I mean, to be honest with you, if I was given a free rein on what team I would pick on Saturday evening, I probably would play Lukaku, Rashford on the right, Martial on the left, Mkhitaryan in behind Lukaku, and a Pogba Matic. That's probably what I would do. I'd probably drop Mata, bring Martial on the left and Rashford on the right. We know we can't do that at the moment, and this is a concern. We cannot do Lukaku up front, Rashford on the right, and Martial up front on the left. Because if that was 0-0 after 70 minutes, we've got no forward to bring on. There's no one to come on for Lukaku. There's no one to come on. You know, Martial, Rashford and Lukaku are our 3 forwards. At the moment, one of them has to be on the bench, even though Lukaku, Rashford on the right, Martial on the left, at home at Old Trafford would be scintillating. We can't actually do it. It's a weird situation, really, that we can't actually play that front 3, which would be devastating to somebody like Leicester or most teams in the Premier League, because we've got to have an option on the bench, which is why I've been saying for a long time it's so important that we really go out to try and get another natural winger, especially a left winger, because then at least it gives us more options. At the moment, we cannot do Martial, Rashford and Lukaku because you've got no striker in the whole squad that's on the bench. It is really weird. Bakayoko says Manchester United will be beaten. I think you're on drugs, mate. Mark, I've got the watch-along display. You're right. Don't worry about it. It's not a watch-along. It's not about to kick off early. Andre Lebel says, I would play Martial for Mata. And Mark, are you doing FIFA Predicts, says United fan. I'm thinking about it, let's just say that. Ben Osler says, I don't think you'll see Morgan or Maguire come too far up for crosses as they know what threat United are on the break, which is a good point from Ben, and that, you know, I'm more than happy with that if Leicester are fearful. But to be honest with you, when people get set plays around the edge of the box, they will bring their centre-backs up. They'll set something up that even if they get caught on the break, they've got cover. It's a 5:30 kickoff on Saturday. You're right, John Carlos. 5:30 Saturday. Really looking forward to it. 3-0 says Leonard, and Leicester 2-1. Vardy party because it's his last game. We're signing him on deadline day. That's Bakayoko again. I don't know what team he supports. Probably Hull or something like that. I'm nervous about this match, Mark. It will be tough, says Fionn Curtin. I think it will be our toughest game of the season so far. I think Swansea, we should have been looking at that, and West Ham, you know, aren't as good as Leicester at the moment. But I was thinking about this before. Look, it's Leicester City at home to Manchester United. I think this fear that United fans have needs to disappear. And that rhymes. But it does need to disappear. We want to compete for the Premier League this year. We want Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Spurs to come to Old Trafford and get beaten. I'm not about to get scared of Leicester City coming to Manchester United. No, not at all. Of course, anything can happen in football, but this is exactly the sort of the game. They'll be terrified of us. We've just won 2 games with 4 goals in each. We've not let a goal in. We look absolutely dominant in the way we run the games, in the way we defend. Leicester will be terrified. They will sit deep, they will try and hit us on the break, and they will try and frustrate us. And that is why we need to mix it up. You can't just pass your way through the middle of teams in the Premier League. You've got to get down the width. And I personally, going back to the tactics side of thing, I personally think that for me, this player, for the second week in a row, is essential. Daley Blind needs to, because it's different when you're away from home because you will get pushed back a bit. But when you're the home team, Vardy's going to spend most of his game in the centre circle because most of his team are going to be in this area here. So there is no excuse for Daley Blind to be hanging around here. Daley Blind needs to be hanging around here and putting that cross. He's got the best cross. I'll talk about this for weeks and weeks. And if you ever watch Top Gun, I came through the danger zone. That's the danger zone there, in between a defensive line and a goalkeeper. Put it into there like that. Valencia, I'd love him to be able to do it because Valencia will get into this position 90% of the game. Daley Blind's got to get into that position because he's the cross. We will try, as I said, we'll try and get through these positions here. We're going to try and do this. We're going to try and do this. Mata's going to wander into these areas. We're going to try and get Lukaku in. And if we, as with every game we've played so far this season, and as we saw last season where we struggled to score, the first goal is key. Get the first goal in the first half and Leicester have got to come out, and then we get the creative opportunities to find Mkhitaryan where he's running at that back four. You've got Rashford going in there, Lukaku, second, third, fourth goal we win 4-0. But it's the first goal that's the key. Sorry, it's the first goal that's the key. Valencia will get there, but Blind's got to get there, and we've got to put crosses into the box. We've got to mix it up against Leicester. Don't make them play narrow. They'll play narrow, they'll look at the edge of their box, and they'll play their players within there. And they'll leave this gap here, and they'll leave this gap here, because the United don't do it. But if we do start to do it, it forces them out, and it creates space in here, and in here. And that is what we need to do. We need to mix it up in the first half, get that first goal, and then it's game over. And we're happy days. You missed up the wings of the Leicester team, says Sid Zan. I don't give a damn, Sid Zan. I don't give a damn whether I've mixed, you know, maybe Albrighton plays on the left and Morris plays on the right. I don't care. If Leicester fans are on here, I don't even apologise. It's a Manchester United fan channel. I don't watch Leicester enough to know, but I know that they play a 4-4-1, and I know that Leicester will try to bomb up here, but priority will be balls into here and balls into here from the long balls from the back, because they're away from home, and that's what they'll do, and they'll play on Bailly, and Bailly will just basically, here's Bailly, look, with a big mouth, with big teeth, and he's going to eat him up, and he's going to disappear. You don't get that on Sky, do you? So yeah, I mean, Vardy ain't going to cause us any problems at the weekend. Bailly will absolutely destroy him. They're down to 10 men, and they're going to defend a lot. They may not even play this lad. They may not even play Osoki, or whatever his name is. They might chuck another midfielder in there and really go defensive. The best they're going to get is a frustrating draw. They are not going to beat us on Saturday. And I know people will say confidence before a fall. It's Manchester United at home to Leicester. Everyone wants us to lose. Everyone wants us to drop points because everybody else has. Let's go at them. Let's do what we can do. Let's beat them. And you know what? If this 11 doesn't work, if this 11 against Leicester doesn't work at the weekend, if that doesn't work, we got Martial. We've got Martial who can come on for this boy. What am I doing? Where's my pen gone? We've got Martial who can come on for this lad. We've got Herrera who can come in here. And also we've got Fellaini running up and down the wing, running up and down the touchline. Never on here, just running up and down. With Lingard. Lingard can do that side, not on the pitch. Entertainment, cheerleader. But we've got Martial and we've got Herrera. And that's all that matters, really. Give us your score predictions. Give us your thoughts. I'm going to take some of your comments. Oh, here we go. Kurtik says you're very overconfident, Mark. Why shouldn't I be overconfident about the fact that we're home to Leicester? We're playing really well, and if we want to win a Premier League, this is 2 points dropped if we don't win it. They could play Iheanacho, who is better than Rashford apparently, says Scorpion 1129 Gaming. There's no way he will start, and he's rubbish. I'd rather he did start. Javid says, am I the only one who feels that Rashford gives more than Martial in running and covering the pitch? Rashford must start. I just don't feel that we need to rush Martial into the team. Bring him on with half an hour to go. I think he's our best player at the moment, but I don't mind him being on the bench because Rashford is very workmanlike. But ultimately, you don't keep your best player on the bench in the long term, but at the moment it's fine. Martial's better than Rashford. Martial will end up in the team if he keeps playing the way he is, but I just wouldn't rush it. You know, if you play your full hand at the start of the game and it goes wrong, you bring Rashford on, and what if he doesn't do as well? What if he misses the sitter? I'd rather start with Rashford, bring Martial on. But that's down to Jose. If he plays Martial, could anyone really complain? I wouldn't. I just think that that's the way he'll go. Daniel Dickoff thinks it'll be 4-0 again. JS thinks 8-0. I think you might be on the old something as well. The ref is Michael Oliver, says Mank Red Gaming. 9 wins out of 22 when Oliver has refereed 4 red cards. I can't stand Michael Oliver. He's an atrocious disgrace of a referee, but it shouldn't be enough at Old Trafford. Remy says that Martial is a super sub at the moment, killing games off, letting us finish off strong. And do you want to see Lindelof instead of Jones, says Riddermoy. There's no, you know, to be honest with you, I never sort of thought I'd say this, but there's no reason to drop Phil Jones at the moment. We've not conceded a goal. It'd be very harsh to drop a centre-back when you've played 2 games and not conceded a goal. And if you don't want Phil Jones in the team, don't worry, he'll sort that out himself. He'll get injured at some point. John Sharrell wants us to concede first so that we can see how we react. Personally, I don't want to go through those sort of scenarios at the moment. I'd rather we just won 4-0. I know Jose Mourinho mentioned it at the weekend. He wants to see how we react to losing. But, you know, those sort of scenarios aren't something we need to worry about at the moment. I want us to just win the game, if I'm honest, and I don't want to mess around losing the game. There'll be plenty of times over 38 games for that to happen. Oh, God, there's somebody on about Liverpool. Do you think I really give a damn about what Liverpool are doing at Anfield? If anybody thinks that Liverpool are capable of winning the league, you've got no idea. Absolutely no idea. They are a poor side with a poor squad and they won't get near the title, so don't need to talk about them. Any news about transfers, says Javid? Nothing at the moment. It's ridiculously quiet across everybody. I think it's going to go off like a bottle of pop next week, but I don't think anything happening. I don't see anything happening. Rooney's retired from international 5 years ago, says Major Han. Look, he's not. I'm surprised by Rooney. I know he's not a United player anymore, but I actually thought he went to Everton so he could play regular first team football and force his way into the England squad for the World Cup. I'm very surprised. He was very, very focused on England, and I'm very surprised that he's retired when he had a very good chance of going to the World Cup. But he's not a United player anymore. It's up to him, and I wish him all the best at Everton, but I was quite surprised by it. Which reminds me, I must say, if it's GCSE day for you tomorrow, I did put out in the live comments before we went live to remind me to ask you, well, to let you know that I have no A-levels, I have no degree, and I left school with 3 GCSEs. So if you do well in your education, well done. I wish I had, but it doesn't define you. It doesn't make you what you are if it doesn't go as well as you want it to. Don't let it worry you. I've got a degree in the University of Life. I left home at 18. I travelled. I went around. I lived in different countries, and I met different things, and I did lots of different jobs. And you know, there's no such thing as failure whilst you're on the path to wherever you want to go. Hard work, dedication, and being true to yourself is the journey, really. I know a lot of my friends went to university. They came out with no idea what they wanted to do. So education's important, but if it doesn't go the way you want it to, it's not the end of the world, so don't worry about it. You can be whatever you want to be. Your GCSEs, your A-levels, they don't define what you are, and you know, regardless of the United stand, what I've achieved away from the United stand professionally, I have a professional job now, and I had one for 15 years, and it didn't define me, and it didn't stop me doing the things I wanted to do. So don't worry about it. If you do well, you deserve it. You've put the work in. If you don't lose any sleep about it. Don't get depressed about it. It really, really won't define what you want to do, because if you want to do something, you can do anything you want to do. GCSE is basically sort of your grades that you get when you leave school. What countries have I lived in, says Joel Miguel. Well, I travelled, but I did live in Ireland for 3 years. Hard work, easy work, says Kai Mighty. Vardy to Chelsea. Chelsea's desperate now. If they want him, fine. It won't make me worried. Andy Pandy says, very good analysis about the starting formation and crucial factors. Thanks, but if you had to change 2 players in the starting lineup, who would it be then? Okay, so let me just drop back here. So you're forcing me to make 2 substitutions. I would agree with this lineup. I love Martial, but I would agree with this lineup. I'd give Martial half an hour in the second half. But if I had to make 2 substitutions from that, because 2 of them were going to be randomly injured and I got the choice, obviously Rashford for Martial, and to be honest with you, I would probably go Rashford for Martial, and it's difficult. I think that, you know what, to be totally honest with you, I'm not just going to make a substitution for the hell of it. It would be Martial for Rashford, but I'm happy with that lineup. So I'm not opposed to whatever Jose does, really, as long as he doesn't pick Fellaini and Lingard, and I think that's not being nasty on them. I just wouldn't. Jones for Lindelof, says Prajwell. Can I play for the greatest team? Manchester United, says Theo. Hard work. Isn't Shaw fit now, says Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I don't think that's the real Zlatan. He's not fit yet. No, he's not fit to play yet. He played on Monday night for the under-23s, but he won't be anywhere near the first team yet, and it'd be silly to do that. Back after the international break in contention would be my thoughts. Does Ease Gaming would start Lindelof? Look, I want to see Lindelof as much as anybody else, and I think he'll be a very good centre-back for us. But you can't drop a centre-back when they've had 2 clean sheets in a row. That'd be really, really harsh. I just wouldn't do it. What about Pereira on subs? Says Tushar. Again, I think the real season starts after the international break. What we need to do on Saturday is win, and I believe we will win, and win well we will. I'm not scared of Leicester at all. If we turn up, we can win that game. Simple as that. Anthony Kerno says, look, you know, he's basically saying that Rashford should be challenging Lukaku. I agree with that. I really, really do believe, and I'll keep saying it, that we need to sign a left winger. Because against Leicester at the weekend, I personally think that our best front 3 would be Rashford on the left, Martial on the left, Rashford on the right, Lukaku up front, Mkhitaryan in behind with Pogba and Matic. I think that Martial on the left, Rashford on the right, Lukaku up front. Leicester wouldn't know if it was Saturday, Sunday or Monday. They'd be all over the place with that sort of pace and directness at Old Trafford. The fact that we can't do that, because if it did go wrong for whatever reason, we have no sub to come on at 70 minutes to play up front, shows me that we need more options. We need another winger, because I like Rashford on the right, Martial on the left and Lukaku up front, but we can't do it because it would leave us with no attacking option on the bench, and we need to have that. So at the moment, poor old Martial, or maybe Rashford at the weekend, they put themselves on the bench just so Mourinho's got a plan B in relation to forwards. We need to get a winger in to stop that happening, whether it's Lamar, Perisic, Draxler. We do need to do it, but there is nothing coming out at United at the moment. There's no indication that we're about to sign anybody. That can change very quickly, and I believe it will, but at the moment there is very little going on, and I don't think anything's going to happen before Leicester, if I'm totally honest. Right, I totally agree with the person who just said there that Rashford's natural position is a forward. I said it last year. I don't believe he's a winger at all. Adama Traore, we mentioned him last year. I don't know where is he still at Middlesbrough? Good player. Pereira can play on the wing, yes, but he's not an option up front. Rodney's on there. Would you see Lindelof take Blind's place for a game or half? Oh, that's an interesting one, Rodney. I don't think Lindelof can play as a left back, but maybe I'm wrong. And my money is on Draxler, says Andy Ferguson. We'd certainly get Draxler for a decent price. Is Man City getting messy, says Civil T. I don't think so, but anything is possible this transfer window. It's just silly, isn't it? And Zach MU says, drop a like on the video and share and subscribe if you are new. Ryan McSquiggan says only 2,000 watching. To be honest, I think 2,000 is very good figures to be getting at the moment. So thanks everybody who's joined in. Mark, how many goals in the first half for United? 1. I think we'll win it 3-1. I'm hoping for 3-0. Roy Martin says, United stands the best thing on the internet. Thanks to the people who make it happen and all the fans who get involved all around the world. Best bit is the last bit there. Rec Bolimy 1974 is here to talk about hot girls. Not for long, you're not. And what do you think the score will be tomorrow, Mark? Who's playing tomorrow? Don't know. It's Thursday tomorrow. Europa League, is it? Arsenal? Don't know. Love from Dubai, says Akshay. Pogba's injured, says Top Throttle. Not heard that. McGregor or Mayweather. I hope Mayweather knocks him out, to be honest. And I lived in Ireland. I find McGregor very annoying. Lemons Are Real says, I love this channel so much. Good to hear. I'm glad you do. We love all you. And if Messi was going to Manchester City, would you be worried, Mark? No, I just think that's typical Guardiola. The biggest fraudulent manager there is there, saving his reputation through Messi. He built his reputation on that. Why shouldn't he save it on Messi? And I'm not convinced Messi would be stunningly brilliant in the Premier League. I'd be intrigued to watch him in the Premier League because Ronaldo's the better player for me because he actually has done it in the Premier League. Messi's just hidden at Barcelona. If he could come to City and help him win the Champions League, then I'd probably have to say he was good, as much as it would pain me. Right. Alex Mav wants us to play a 4-4-2. It's finished. That formation's gone. Honestly, how do you think we'll fare in the Champions League? Says Agni Matra. Quarterfinals is what I said at the start of the season. Anything beyond that is a bonus. It's all about the Premier League this year. Let's not be greedy. Messi will struggle with the weather. Chance of Ronaldo coming back? None. J-Dip, I'm afraid. And does Martial make French side this break? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Martial does get called up to the French squad. He should do, but Deschamps is a clown, so he probably won't. I hope he doesn't. I'm not really bothered about what France do. I'm bothered about Manchester United. I mean, that is a very good point. That is a very good point because last year we had 9 points and the international break came upon us and it sort of stunted our flow. I don't want that to happen again. I look at the team, you know, there's a few players who will go on international break. We don't want that to happen. Mkhitaryan, Lukaku, Pogba, they're all key players on international break. We don't want them to get injured or tired. Bum bum bum. Summer Breeze says, let's go, let's be greedy, go for them all. I think if we want to go for them all, we need a winger and another player. We need 2 signings. You know what? The interesting thing is, and I will just mention it, Barkley's not moved anywhere yet. Renato Sanchez hasn't moved anywhere yet. Fabinho's not moved anywhere yet. And Aurier's not moved anywhere yet. All 4 of those players are going to move. Will United get any? Sasha just said, will we sign anyone? I don't know. I believe we should do. And I think it should be a winger. Just to give us a little bit more option. Right. Thanks everyone for watching. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed the tactics stuff at the start of the video. I'm more than happy to do it. I used to do tactics previews last year. I am going to implement them into FIFA Predicts at some point, but it's always rubbish at this time of the year because the new FIFA's not out. So you're doing it on the old FIFA, so it's a bit rubbish. So we'll do it on stuff like this, which I'm more than happy to do. And get the old yellow pen out, not a problem. More than happy to do that for you. But we can also do this as well. We can use the old tactics pad and we can move things around and we can talk about how Leicester will want to do things and how United will set up, and effectively, just for those who missed the start, this is pretty much how both teams will set up at the weekend. So we'll have Mata tucking in there, we'll have Rashford slightly more forward, we'll have Lukaku, that's their back 4. So effectively Leicester will play a back 4, a midfield 4, 1 behind, 1 up front. Vardy will disappear into Bailly's pocket there. Our fullbacks will basically play in a line with our midfielders, or certainly Matic. Pogba will move forward. Mkhitaryan will operate here. Mata will be coming in, so Valencia can go down there. And Rashford will play very far forward like he did against Swansea. And Lukaku will operate this area. Now, if we were playing this game with Zlatan, just to sort of show you what happens. If you play against Zlatan, got that totally wrong. If Zlatan's your number 9, Leicester's line of defence will be here. Because they're not scared of this area and the ball going into there. Which means this line pushes forward and we get pressed back here. But because we've got Lukaku, he will push those two as far back as he can, which will create a lot more space in the midfield. But I still think they will play narrow within this area, and we need to get into these areas as well as these areas to mix it up. And that's how we'll win it. We will win it. I'm going 3-1. I think that's conservative. We could get 3-4-0. We will win it. Thanks everyone for watching. Back tomorrow at 7 AM. Drop us your comments below on anything we've covered today in the show if you're not watching live. Drop a like on the video if you're liking the new preview format. Interactive, yellow pen, tactics and all that jazz. And I'll speak to you all tomorrow at 7 o'clock, unless something happens tonight, which just doesn't seem likely, but at some point maybe it will. Thanks for watching. Dylan Johnson made a super chat, sorry. He says, why does everyone want Mata out? I love him. I don't. I ain't dropped him. He's in my team, that mate. There he is. Mr. Consistent. Did you see his Twitter post as well? That brilliant retro United top. Absolutely superb. United in the stand says 4-0. A few people like Michael Schofield are saying 4-1. We're going to win. Bottom line, we're going to win. I said it at the start. I'll say it at the end. We're going to win. Call it confidence. I don't care. We're going to win.